Hey, this is CJ, and I want to tell you about our new show, Minding Your Business After Hours. After Hours is your behind the scenes look into how we grow our ventures. We brainstorm, screen share, and work through the steps we're taking each week. Jump in the bullpen with us and learn new skills while getting stuff done. You can access After Hours by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/minding your business. This week on the Minding Your Business podcast, we talk about experimenting with content, new AI video editing tools, and as always, leveling up your workflow. Welcome to the Minding Your Business podcast. I'm CJ Jolliffe with everybody's favorite co-host,
Aaron Gerald. Hot diggity. All right. Man, I'm excited for today. I'll tell you what, I've just been working. I know, right? I typically don't like to do that, but I've been working really hard doing a lot of my favorite thing, which is research. So I kind of want to touch on that just before we get started, because I know before we had kind of talked about some different things. Man, I'll tell you what, with my YouTube channel, right? I'll start with that. So with the YouTube channel, I've been trying to come up with ideas. I've been doing things. I've been making the shorts. I'm still on, I think I'm on like lesson 26 or 27 at this point. Okay. I think I told you before, like, oh, man, I was having trouble. I was doing great, getting like 900 views, 1,000 views per video I was putting out, getting 10, 15, 20, 30 people. And then it died off. And it was because I went a day without uploading anything. And I thought I made the algorithm mad. And then I was like, no, maybe I'm making my intros bad. Well, okay, so on, what day was it? I think it was Monday. I had a slow day in the middle of the day. I had an opening in the middle of the day, and that's typically when I will do my notes or I will record my lessons. Well, I meant to record all my lessons for this week on that day, but my my wife was like, hey, it's spring break. Would you mind? I'm going to drop Jax off. Jax is my 8-year-old little boy. So I'm going to drop him off. Can you occupy him? Well, I know what that means. He's as ADD as I am. Like, we had to do something. And he decided he wanted to make a video. And so I'm all about that. I'm like, let's do it, buddy. So first thing I had him do was warm up. And I said, let's get you warmed up. Let's get you shooting some B-roll footage for Papa. Okay. So he goes out and I tell him B-roll footage is, and I explain it to him. And he's like, Papa, I know. Whether he did or not, I wasn't sure. And holy crap, dude, he got me some decent footage. And I go, well, now let's use that footage and let's rework one of the videos that I thought should have been a better lesson. And let's put some of that stuff in. And we changed it. And I had launched that video the day before.
Okay.
And so I've been doing, I think I told you, been doing 2 videos a day, a new one, and then re-uploading an old one and getting more subscribers and likes and views, whatever, more engagement on the page. And so I go, well, this would be a great test. I did it my way. And then I'm going to do it again. I got like, I don't know, 130 views. Like, it was a dismal failure. And I thought it was a really good content video, but you had to make it through the initial part to get to the content, and nobody was getting there. And so I thought, it's my fault. I will change it. And so my son made me this really cool intro where he twisted inside my office, right where I stand. He like looked at where the camera would go, fortunately for me, and then twisted around a couple of times and then stopped right there. And so I was able to take that, clip a little bit out of the beginning. So it just starts with the spinning. I put a whoosh, swish sound. I sped it up a little bit, and then I ended it so that it faded with me fading, like coming in right where it stopped.
Okay.
It was crazy good. I can't believe how good it looked. Like, I was like taken aback because it's jarring. And I'm like, that's exactly what you want. I bet this is going to do something. And he's like, Papa, I want to do another something, but I don't know if you know how to do it. Well, I love the challenges, right? And I'm like, come on, buddy, let's talk. And so he actually held my phone, because it's got the new gimbal thing in it, on a little stick. And he walked all the way up the hallway. And then he walked and then went, boop, and touched the soda machine, bright red, like Coca-Cola soda machine, and then boop, off of that, and then turned around and then walked all the way back down the hall to the exit. And I said, oh my gosh, son, I think I know exactly where we should put that in that same video. Let's do it. So I went into Canva because I don't know how to do it in Premiere Pro. We may need to talk about that later. And I removed the background. So it's just me talking. And we replaced the background with a moving hallway while I'm talking about right when I break into you. What you've got to do is you've got to use your imagination. And then the background blurs into this moving hallway that goes to a soda machine. And then in the part where I'm talking, I go, and if you're not sure, it's time to, at that point, you need to turn around, walk out, and make your exit. And where he gubs right to the door that says exit. And
Nice.
then strangely, for whatever reason, I really liked when I did it. But while I'm recording, you know what I do? I'll say a sentence and then I'm like, okay. Then I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, gotcha. So then I go into the next thing. Well, normally I say, gotcha. For whatever reason, at this point, I'm like, and I make the pop noise with my mouth, and then I go into the next thing. Well, surprisingly, I'd left the pop in. So it goes to the thing, goes to the exit, and then goes, and I go, whoop, and I'm talking about the next thing. So it pops back into reality. It is the coolest, stupid thing.
So you aligned the cut with the pop?
With the pop. So
That's
it popped back into me standing there and then continuing talking. So ridiculous. Like it just worked. I didn't plan it. I just go, I'll take this clip. It's about long enough. I'll do it. And then it worked with the pop. It's so cool. That video I posted in the afternoon, which is I usually get a little bit of traffic, 300-400 people, 200 people. So it does okay, but it's not great. That video banged into 900 like almost in an hour. Like it went gangbusters. I got 25-30 new subscribers. Like it went bonkers, and is still, this is the crazy part, getting me traffic. I don't understand it. I go back and look, I'm still getting 1, 2, 3 people that are liking it and 1 or 2 followers after the fact because of how good it was. And it's because I spent all the extra effort and time to make it a really good, engaging video that grabs your attention, pulls you in, gets you going. And I'm like, it really isn't the algorithm treating me badly because it's got some grudge against me. It's because I suck at making videos. Like I'm not like when I put the effort in, I put all the extra like creative stuff, then it pays off. But it's so hard to be that creative every day. And I'm like, man, I don't get it. Which brings me to my next thing, unless you've got something.
Oh, keep going. No.
Okay, perfect. Okay, brings me to my next thing. So I think I told you I'm doing the stuff on YouTube, and I'm following a few creators that are into slightly different, what I believe to be complementary, but close arenas. So we talk about a lot of the same things, but in a complementary manner, because I'm doing it from a different perspective. We're both talking about the same thing. So I'm feeling like in my opinion, I could eventually do some kind of a collaboration thing with this other creator, but I want to make sure I know enough about them that I would be a positive influence or give his audience something of benefit. So I'm like, man, I'll tell you what, I am just impressed with how this guy comes up with these great ideas that seem to get traction every time he puts a video out. Like I don't know where he gets these ideas. And then you talked me into check out the vidIQ, get the free version, whatever. It'd give you at least some ideas, whatever. And you can see if it's going to be a beneficial thing for you or not. This creator's not, he is on YouTube, but he's doing kind of like me, YouTube and TikTok. Those are seem to be the ones he's mostly focused on. And his video pops up and I'm like, man, that is surprisingly close to the video I'm working on today. Wait a minute. I got the idea to make it yesterday and then I got lazy and I didn't do it. That would have been the video that went out today. And that's the video that he had come out today. How did we both come up with the same exact idea for, wait a minute. And I go to vidIQ and I look at the super hot, like trending now. This is what you should do based on your criteria, your everything.
Yeah.
He reworded it, obviously, but it gave him a very similar idea topic. I won't get into what it was because I don't want to say who he is yet, but because I might have a collaboration.
We saved that for the Patreon. That's for the after hours show.
Yeah, that's an after hours thing because I'm going to start like more actively pursuing relationships and joint ventures and that kind of thing coming up this next 6 months. But it was amazing. So I thought, this is blowing my mind. Hang on a minute. Well, I had saved the ones that say very hot. Like it gives me 3 ideas because I'm still using the free version. So it's like a very hot idea, a hot idea, and a medium idea. And I went back and I searched the ones that I've saved, which is only like 3 days worth, and then plus today. And I can't wait to see today. I'm gonna go look at his page and see if he did the same one that said it was hot yesterday, in which case
Right.
this is just gonna because I'm like, I don't know how he's coming up with all these ideas. I think he's getting them using this tool. It pulls all of the data, knows who your audience is, knows who what everything, and then it says based on what their other searches are and the other things they would be interested in, we think it would be this topic. Then he puts it out and he gets a lot of traction. And I'm like, how's he coming up with great ideas and I can't? And we know a lot of the same stuff.
Right.
He's following the trends. Using the tools. And I'm like, of course he's able to cut the bread into slices and I'm tearing it apart. He's using a knife. Like, I'm not using a knife. I'm just using my fingers and hoping for the best. Well, that makes a terrible sandwich. Yes, you get full, but it makes for a terrible sandwich.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've really got to start using the tools and that list of tools you gave me to use the vidIQ, to use the are we saying it yet? Yeah, FireCut.
FireCut. Yeah, you can say it. It's okay.
FireCut, and then again, I think the motion array thing makes a lot of sense just because of all of the additional things that are there. And if I'm going to start doing stuff for myself, I need it to be easy. I need it to be streamlined. I need it to be drag and drop. I would
Yeah.
love to be able to say, oh, I can make my own motion graphics, but I've looked into it and I recognize and realize, could I do it in a year from now? Yes, with a lot of dedicated effort and time and focus. But I want to take that time and effort and focus and apply it differently.
Right.
So I think it makes sense for
Lean
me
into
to
your
just
strengths and let the tools like assist you and save you time, make you more efficient. Like
right.
Mogurts are a great example because I mean, yeah, like I could make my own custom motion graphics and that kind of stuff, but at a certain point, now don't get me wrong, Mogurts are great to a certain point, but if
Mhm.
I just need to throw something together really quickly, like I'll grab one I use Envato a lot.
Okay.
I have an Elements, Envato Elements subscription.
Sure.
So, I can grab that's where I get a lot of stock footage and that kind of stuff too. But just grab something that works well enough. I can customize it and
Right.
it saves hours. Now, if I was actually putting together a hardcore graphics package or something for a brand, that might be different,
Right.
but even then, I get a good start with motion graphics and just kind of see how far I can let that take me. But
Okay.
what I'm hearing you say too is
I'll
like
have to check
I've
out
been
the
in so
Envato
many
then.
I've been in so many meetings. I've been in so many meetings before where you have a great idea and you're like you recognize that it's a great idea. It's on the whiteboard and you're like,
Right.
"All right, yes, we are going to do that." But then it's not given like a due date or
Uh-huh.
who's responsible for what. It's sat on the like wall of ideas for
Right.
someday, and someday never comes. And so I think it's that first of all, you're the last person in the world that I would ever need to say take action. You're
Right.
you're actually the person that I'd be like, hey, breathe, stop for a second and focus
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Um,
like, does this
agreed.
fit with where the vision, where the direction, was cast?
Right.
But going in and actually like it's one thing to have great ideas, it's another thing to pursue them. So many people have ideas are pretty much worthless until you put them in action. And even then,
Yeah.
a lot of effort and action to make those ideas real. But anyway,
Yeah, I
I'll
agree
get off
with
my
that.
soapbox.
Yeah, I did actually spend several hours. I would say at this
I'm
point,
sure
and
you
not
did.
a lot. For me, not a lot. Probably 7 hours since last we talked, researching FireCut. I watched every single one of their example videos, all of the stuff. I went through and I've read every single word on their website.
So
Um,
for people that don't know what FireCut is, do you want to kind of give them a breakdown? We covered it in our
Sure.
after hours
Oh, in
show
the
once.
after hours stuff. Okay, so yeah, apparently FireCut is an AI tool and a plugin, but there's also a web version that you can get access to that does some amazing things. They basically call it first cut stuff for your video. So you record your video, you upload it into Premiere Pro, which is what I use, and this is a plugin for Premiere Pro, or I guess you could do it via the web, but I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why you would want to if you're going to be editing it somewhere. Well, anyway, Premiere Pro's you got me turned on to that, so that's the one I'm using.
Well,
And
and like you
it
said,
is
first cut, right? Because what I love about it is you can then take that first cut and then make it your own. Where a
right.
lot of like the AI tools out there, it just does
It
something
gives
for
you
you and you can't
something it's
change it.
finalized and done, and you can't then do any further edits. So
Yeah.
this edits it in Premiere Pro, so you can go no, no, yes, no, lengthen this, do this, change. But it is incredibly not only intuitive, but the advanced versions allow you to tweak so fine-tuned that it's amazing. What it'll do is you upload your video, it cuts out all the well, there's a bunch of different things that it'll do, but one of the things it'll do is it'll take out all the silences. And then you can tweak exactly how much of that silence and what the sound threshold for that is. You do that. And then it allows you to, you can do a quick one where it just auto does it. And for a short, fast, down and dirty video, go for it, a short or something. But a longer video, maybe you need a little bit more fine tuning. You get to go through and it shows you each and every one and highlights it on your timeline. So you can go in and adjust it as you need to, or skip it if you want to. After that, you can go in and put in your captions. And there's
Okay.
like hundreds of ways to do that. And it is amazing. All of the big dudes, that's a really, technical term. All the big dudes that they're doing it and have their stylized versions, they're all there. And then you can tweak them to make them your own or
Okay.
come up with something completely your own. There's thousands of fonts that you can use, plus shading, shadows, boxes, pop in, moving graphics. You can split line. You can do one line. You can have it go all the way wide. You can have it go narrow. You can go one word at a time. You get to put the line breaks in. You get a complete control of it. You get to
Nice.
decide how big it is. Like it's super, super cool. Um,
Does it do
Next,
the thing where it follows the word you're on?
yeah.
Like the
Oh my
word you
God.
say?
It'll not only follow the word, it'll change just that color of that word if you
Okay.
want. It will make it pop. So as you say that word, it
Right.
gets a little bit bigger. It'll put a box around that word. It'll actually put all your graphics in to where only as you say the word, it appears, but you can change the opacity so they're light gray and then they pop into color as you say
Okay.
them. Like crazy cool. Just
That's handy.
really, really, really a lot of options. Anyway, that's awesome. It'll put B-roll in. It'll make your cuts, jump
Don't
cuts.
hang on. Don't skip over that because that's the part that actually sold me on FireCut. So
Was the
say that
B-roll
again.
part?
Yes.
Okay. It will add B-roll via, and I haven't figured out exactly because there's an asterisk, but I couldn't tell what the asterisk means. So I got to probably talk to somebody. Via story blocks. So it sounds
Okay.
like powered by story blocks, whatever. Powered by story blocks means there's an asterisk. I read the asterisk and it's like, oh, there are limitations of whatever up to 25 hours a month of footage or whatever. So there's probably that. You probably can't have, too much, uh,
I'm gonna
too much B-roll. Okay.
yeah, I'm
The
gonna look at
crazy
story
thing
blocks right
is,
now while we're talking about it because
yeah,
that
go for it.
is interesting.
It's really cool that it does the story block stuff, puts it into your videos, and then when you're saying I want B-roll in it, you could say I want like 2 B-roll videos in every 10 minutes, and then it'll put that many B-rolls in that
Okay.
seem most appropriate. Once they're in, unlike a lot of AIs, you can change the length of the B-roll. You can shorten
Uh,
it, lengthen it to get rid of it, move it, add B-roll somewhere else. Then you can swap out what the video in the B-roll is. You can change the zoom in on it. It's all completely like it's a separate thing that you get to then edit and modify all you want,
okay.
which is awesome. Because if it's me, I'm gonna be like, put like 10 B-rolls at 10 seconds a piece, every minute, or every whatever. And then I'm gonna have it overload with B-rolls and go, no, 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 but yes on these. And holy crap. Like I'd rather have it overdo than not. But then you have to think there's only 25 hours of B-roll that you get. And so you got to kind of factor that in, I suppose.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the cool thing is that you can say on your video, I don't want any B-rolls in the beginning. So you can put an in and an out point where you want the B-rolls to be placed. So you can say only in the middle, whatever of my video do I want it, or only do I want whatever. Not only that, so hopefully that covers that. It'll put in and chapterize your video. So I don't know if you've noticed this, but most videos that are on YouTube right now that are getting the best traction and the best traction on Google are chapterized videos.
Sure.
They have chapters, and when they get the chapter, now it puts it on Google, and it's like, hey, check this out. Look at all these chapters. And you're only wanting to hear this part. And
Right.
the
Right.
chapter title is exactly the answer to the question you just asked. You want to
Yep.
watch that little section of that video? Awesome. I want that.
Right.
Then when it chapterizes it for you, it gives you a copy and paste. So you can paste it right into the note section or description section um, onto your YouTube description so that it puts it in so they can jump directly to it.
That's
Number
handy.
two, you can say, add me a cover for each chapter, and it'll take the words that it believes the chapter title should be called and put it on a card that'll go for
Yep.
a second and a half that you can then adjust for however long you want it. You can have
Okay.
it fade in and fade out. You can have it pop in, pop out. You can change the color, the font, everything you want. And you can also go in and change the words. So you can retitle it whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's really cool on the captioning part. I didn't even talk about this. This was one of the things that kind of impressed me is that when you go into captioning, you can go into the captions and let's say it misspelled a word. You get to rewrite it. Let's say that you don't like that it writes two as 2WO and you go, I'm not that guy. I like a number two. So that when I say point number two, it says on the captions, it's point
Right.
number two and it puts a two or even puts a number sign in a two. You can go in
Okay.
and change all that in the text and then it changes the captions to be that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That, I mean, honestly, like that's what I was sold on it just from the like a few videos that I'd watched about it.
Right.
Um, I don't know. Like for me, the big one is B-roll.
Yeah.
I can see that being really powerful.
It
I
takes
already have
so
B-roll
much work.
subscriptions, but
Uh-huh.
I'll just take a look at Storyblocks. It looks like it starts at $15 a month.
Yeah, I looked at that and the 15 bucks a month is super limited. And so then you ultimately have to go with the 35 bucks a month or whatever it
Okay.
is. Ultimately to get the unlimited version to that you can use it for everything. And then I'm like, hang on, 35 bucks a month is what FireCut costs to get the
Right.
same access and powered by Storyblocks. That's a hell of a partnership. Like
So wait, are they actually including the Storyblocks access with,
footage. I don't know if you get access to your
or you
own
have to
search
just you have
about,
to have do you have to have both?
but the B-roll part is limited to only so many hours. And
Okay, I
I think
see.
it's like
Yeah,
5
yeah.
hours or something a month of B-roll footage that it will offer you and put into your videos.
That's a lot of B-roll.
That's a lot. I'm never going to use that much. I'm
Right.
using 1, 2, 3 seconds at a time. I'll be honest with you. Most of the B-roll I'm using, because I have Shri or my directioner Shri doing it for me in my long form videos, and he uses videos.
Yeah.
And I think I can't tell where he's pulling from, but I've seen some I recognize, some I don't. But he's pulling, and it's a second and a half of actual video. So it's people laughing or doing movement. Well,
Yeah.
for me, first of all, I don't have access to those things. And when I'm making a short, I've got 3/4 of a second of video or of B-roll. And so I'm just taking an image, I'm moving it over here, and then it's an upright of a vertical, horizontal, and then I pan. And so it's
Right.
like, so some of my stuff, it's movement, but it's not video. It's just movement
Right.
of a still image.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm a cheater, right? But I do what I can, right?
It's the
I'm
Ken
I'm
Burns
working.
effect. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cutting the bread with a butter knife, sometimes. So that's going to be exciting to be able to actually have moving footage in it. But I also know that there's a little bit more to it than just that. And
Yeah.
so, yes, the A cut, I think that's what it's called, right? First cut or A cut through FireCut, amazing. Going to save me hours of work,
Yeah.
honestly, because then I get to go in and just fine tune it, and make it me, and just add my touches to it. Well, when I think about it, my touches are, I still need to cheat with the touches because I can't go in and go, oh, dude, I know what I want to do. I have an idea. I know what I want to do. Like me and my son did the thing where with the hallway thing, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
Took an hour and a half. Shouldn't have. I
Right.
don't think it should have. I think it should have
Right.
been a lot less than that, but it wasn't. And I had to use 3 apps and I had to open up the thing, go to Canva and then background removal and then do the thing. It wouldn't do the video right. And then I'm like, so I had to do me separate with no background and get the transparent background and then bring that video over and then do the hallway video and then clip it to exactly where I wanted and then bring that over and then put that into Premiere and then change the time mapping on that, and then put that as the background and drag so that I put myself over it, and then it didn't fit. So I had to, oh my God. I'm telling you, is an hour and a half of just that, of 6 seconds of video.
Yeah.
But it's 6 seconds of
Uh.
engaging video. And I'm like, man, if I could do some of that with motion graphics or a Mogert, where I could just drag it, drop it in, make a few changes, do it in 15 minutes, 10 minutes, instead of an hour and a half, how many more cool things could I put in my videos? And it also said that there are, in Motion Array, I believe, because now I'm getting a little clouded with all the different things I was looking at between vidIQ, FireCut, and Motion Array. But Motion Array has pre-designed templated things where you go, oh, I freaking love this, where it does a thing, it does the thing where it blurs the two halves of your video together and makes a really cool transition, and then it pulls up a box that you put the words in while you're off to the side.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's already all pre-made. You just drag that book, drop that thing on top of your video, add the words you want to add, and bam, you're done. Like, okay, it may not be exactly what I want. The box doesn't have rounded corners, it's got square corners, or it has rounded and I wanted square.
Right.
It's going to be on the screen for a couple of seconds. It's going to make the impression I want to make, and then go. Yes. Should I have a branding team that could make them exactly the way I want and whatever? Sure. But how much more is that going to cost? And why do I need a branding team until I've got thousands of people that are going to notice those tiny details?
It's like we've talked about before, like, what's your minimum viable product?
Yeah.
Right? Just start there and then iterate. Just make a little change, a little change, a little change. Improve it a little by little, but
Yes.
don't don't let what is it? Perfect be the enemy of good.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. Because it'll be good enough. Like, even when I did that video and I had Canva do, like, the edges are a little blurry, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
But they're gonna be. Did I green screen it, or did I just background removal? I just background removaled it, right?
Right.
I didn't green screen and make it crisp and use a backlight and the whole thing. I didn't do it right. I know how to do it, I think.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
you
didn't
already
do that.
know more than you said backlight, so you already know more than most people.
Well, that because you told me that's
I
what gives you that crisp line so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
okay. So I'm like, yeah, I think I know how to do it, but my God, to set all that up to do 6 seconds of video, it's better it be a little blurry, honestly. You know what I mean? You're looking at a screen this big. It isn't like, oh, I'm making a movie. Although we do need to talk about me making a movie, because I really do want to make that little video series where I make the movie. That one's really starting to burn a hole in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just it's really burning a hole in my head. And I think one of the other things that got me so excited is, in Motion Array, they have so many pre-made things for social media footage stuff and
Yeah.
YouTube and all of that. And I'm like, perfect. They also have a whole section for filmmakers. Holy crap. Like, with special effects and with different things. And I'm like, that'd make making the movie so much easier. And I'm like, well, of course it would. That's
Right.
ridiculous. Why am I? But now I can, for me, I'm thinking Motion Array is two birds, right? It's two birds. I get to do the filmmaking stuff and the stuff that I'm trying to push and promote.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I need the FireCut too, because then I can clip and keep track of stuff much better. Plus, when I'm making my own footage, obviously it makes sense to stay with Adobe, because Adobe's getting the new AI to categorize and maintain my own personal B-roll, which is going to be awesome as well, because then that personal B-roll be in a library that I can then click Motion Array, Storyblog, or like, and just go to it
Right.
without having to go in a folder and bring it and drag it in and put it to the thing. Like, it'll just be me getting better at doing that.
Yeah.
At which point I really enjoy it. So I don't understand. Like, I think the thing that I'm missing the most when I was using Shri was I would just record and send, and then they would send it back. And I'm like, it's good. It's good. I liked a lot of what you did. It isn't what I would have done,
Right.
but it's good. I mean, it's fine. It's okay. Like, it's great. Never mind. It's great. Let's just upload it and go. But now when I get to make my own, because I got greedy, I had to go back. I had to start recording and editing and putting my own stuff out. And I'm like, well, if I'm doing that, well, then why am I still having somebody else do it? And I'm also obviously not super happy with what I'm getting. There
Well,
are
and you obviously have a vision
areas that I
that
like.
you're trying to like hit. You have a vision that either you haven't done a good job sharing with them, or you just
Right.
haven't shared, right?
Right.
Or, the other thing is too, like, I know you well enough to know that you enjoy the creative process. Like, whether or not, like, that's
Yeah.
where you need to spend all your time, that's a totally different thing. But,
Yeah. True.
like, the creative process is, I think, therapeutic, right? Because
Uh-huh.
you're taking something that's in you, an idea or whatever, right? And you're creating it. You're making it like you're giving it life. And there's
Right.
something about that that is just really, really satisfying beyond just
Yes.
like I check something off my list.
Right.
It's something I mean, I don't know. It takes me back to like kindergarten or like first grade when you like make a little, I don't know, Christmas ornament and it's terrible, but you made it and
Right.
you're so proud of it, right?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
like your parents are obligated to put it on the tree and they're
Uh-huh.
like, wow, that is ugly, and then they save it to show you when you're an adult, be like, look, we hung this ugly thing on the tree
For years.
for
Uh-huh.
years. Yeah. See how much we love you. Um, but no, I think that's, I mean, I would not personally, this is something I struggle with. I have a hard time letting go of certain parts of the businesses because
Uh-huh.
I enjoy those.
Right.
Like I still enjoy video production. Do I do like I
Enough
don't do
of it?
commercials anymore. I don't do
Right.
I mean, for me, like, um, I mean, I'm doing a lot of editing now for the time being. That's
Right.
being kind of transitioned away from me, because I've spent the time getting where I want it to be or trying to get it where I want it to be, and then I
Right.
can cast a vision. Here's the standard. It may
Right.
not be very good, make it better. I don't know.
Right.
But,
Yes.
you were saying the thing about the green screen, right?
Uh-huh.
And it just took me back to, man, I think it was like 2006, 2005 or 2006. Not a lot of people know this. So, I'm sharing with the world.
Okay.
Um, I started a podcast, a video podcast in 2005 or 6. I can't remember. I made it 2
Okay.
episodes in. It was grueling, and this is long before, like, you were monetizing podcasts. It was
Okay.
I mean, I can remember, like, it was in the days of the iPod video where it had, like,
Uh-huh.
the touch wheel and it played videos. Like, that was the
Uh-huh.
big deal, that you could have a podcast and have it on your iPod.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah,
but the
because there was a
whole
screen on it, and you were like,
yeah. So,
yeah.
the reason I bring that up is I had a very long portion of the podcast that was on a green screen. Oh my gosh. And, like, I know I knew how to light a green screen, and I did my best, but the software back then compared to how it is now,
Sure.
really, really difficult. Really, really difficult to work with. Like, getting that matte, that color matte,
Uh-huh.
it was tough. And you have to for it back then, for it to work, you had to really light your screen
Oh, yeah.
evenly. Like, it had to
Oh, yeah.
be there was a
Yeah,
very, very
because if it off
fine
shaded
threshold.
at all, then there was a
Uh-huh.
weird spot that would appear.
If
Uh-huh.
there's a part that was darker or a part that was brighter, So, I learned that one the hard way. I don't know how many hours I don't know how many hours I spent actually recording it. My poor wife
Right.
at the time, we were, like, pretty newlywed. She was
Right.
running the camera, and, uh, if everyone can't tell, I stumble on my tongue a lot, but I think it's different when you're recording something live, you just keep going, right?
Yeah.
If we were sitting down to record this, it would be miserable because we'd be like, "Oh, let's go back and do that," you know?
Oh, I know.
Um, and so plus I was younger, so didn't well, not as
Mm.
experienced or refined, and I swear trying to get through like a 2.5 minute, stanza was rough.
Yes.
I'm
I
surprised we stayed married after that, but,
Dude, I can
um
imagine. When I have to memorize something and say it verbatim, forget it.
mhm,
I can't even read it for 2.5 minutes
yeah.
verbatim. Like, my
Well,
brain
I
I
wasn't memorizing, it's
oh,
I'm a bullet point person, right? I mean, that's
yes, I
why
can do that,
yeah,
but each take, like, I can't do 3 takes and then you can edit the 3 takes together
I
because
know.
each take is just me
Yeah, I know.
completely being like, "You know what? I'm gonna change the order of that," and then I just reword it completely. My brain is too bored with saying the same thing more than once.
I couldn't say I could try, but I couldn't say the same thing twice. Um,
Yeah.
speaking of like, that makes me think of the reason I say I know because there's some things that we've recorded like we haven't talked about it much, but like
Right.
quick start course. That was a
Right.
really good one,
Yeah.
but speaking of, I have an idea,
Okay.
so you should be scared.
Sure.
I want to.
I'll be
I have an
very
idea,
ready.
and we can't talk. This is. I don't want to talk about it that much until
On
we.
the air, so you're bringing it
Yeah.
up on the air. You're like, "I have an idea that's killer, but I
Well,
can't
I
go
will
with it
forget if
because."
I don't. It's clickbait. It's what it is. I'm just trying to. It's a tease. No, I have an idea for a book, and so I
Okay.
think it would be a fairly simple thing to write. Um,
Okay.
and there's a couple angles we could go at it with, but I'd love to co-author it with you. So,
Yeah.
and it would really fit. I think it would fit the podcast audience.
Okay.
I think it would fit our Remind stuff,
Sure.
which people don't probably know about, but we'll be talking about that more in the future.
Yeah.
But
We'll get
and it would
into that.
have it would I think it would lend itself to a book, um, maybe even a course.
Okay.
But
Let's talk about it because I'm interested. I like the remind and the minding your business part. And you're saying, if we're going to co-author a book, like how co-authory do we do? Do we both write parts and the paragraphs just sort of blend together, or
I
do
was
we
thinking
write,
every other word.
or do we, or do we write like contrasty, like your take and my take on the same type thing?
I you'll see. It's
Okay, so you've got some
I'll
ideas for me.
yeah, I have some
Okay, cool, cool.
ideas, but literally
Interesting.
it's just the kind of thing that popped in my head this morning. Maybe last night.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
but
I'm down.
yeah, let's put it
We'll
this
meet
way.
up
It's one
and
of those things,
chat it.
it's not. I think it could provide a lot of value for people, and that's what I just keep coming back to. Like, and I will be completely honest. I don't have a whole lot to cover this week because I have things that I'm really curious about that I want to cover, but I
Okay.
didn't spend the time to dig into them and bring like real knowledge,
Some
right?
insight or something.
Yeah,
Sure, sure.
everything I would be repeating would be hearsay and not really
Okay.
having much, so like I
Sure.
failed you.
Well, you know what though, too? I seriously believe that there is value in asking the question. And so if this episode is us saying, I don't know enough about this, this is what I'm wondering. And this is this is what I'm curious about. This is the direction I think it goes in, but I'm going to check on it. I think
Yeah,
there's still value in that because when you activate your brain and you tell yourself, you come up with questions, you create mystery.
yeah,
Anything unknown is uncomfortable. Anything we don't know, ooh, it creates that anxiety. That anxiety is what pushes us forward to learn that thing in the first place. So
yeah.
I don't necessarily think there's anything inherently bad about coming completely unprepared.
Well, ha! I'm not unprepared. I just like I don't wanna. Okay, well, I'll just tell you what the things are. Like,
Okay.
I'm a morning routine person. Like, I've had a
Yeah.
morning routine.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. And we even
recently
touched
changed
on
it,
that. You're having
right?
some issues.
And, like, so instead of, like, getting up and making coffee and reading first and then going to work out, I've flipped it where I'm working out first,
Okay.
then I read and get coffee and that or make coffee and that kinda thing. But, there's some reasons behind that. And
Okay.
so, um, I'm basically I heard from, they
Okay.
they said
Sure.
that it's best if you don't drink caffeine for the first 1 or 2 hours of the day. It
Okay.
helps you, I think it reduces your cortisol levels,
Uh-huh.
which is you would know cortisol
Yes.
is like
So
it
when you
causes
first
stress,
wake
right?
up, you have cortisol in your system. That's what helps
Right.
wake you up. Like you
Okay.
have to have that. But then consuming caffeine on top of that just maintains that level and it makes you feel bad or can. So
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense to
And
cleanse it out. And if you're going to be working out anyway, you're pushing all of that stuff out of your system and then coming into it after that. So yeah, makes sense. So let me ask you this. The they that you're talking about, if it's
okay.
the they that I think you're listening to, or potentially are you drinking water with a little bit of like salt or saline?
I am drinking branched chain amino acids and some other like amino acids while I'm
Okay.
working
So
out,
not necessarily salt.
but there would be sodium in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
mean,
was
I can
just
go
curious
grab
because a lot of
the
what you're
thing.
talking about, I heard recently on a few podcasts through Huberman Labs.
Yeah.
And it is like, I really appreciate listening to somebody who isn't just like, this is something I've been hearing, and then they just say it. Like
That's
he
why I don't.
actually
Yeah, that's
is
why I
a
wanted to like actually look at the research. Yeah,
yeah, he's like a I don't know, he teaches at some college and he's a neuro whatever. Either way, he's far more qualified to speak on those things and the biology and the physiology and all of that because
yeah,
that's primarily what he focuses on, which I like because I feel like that's complementary to finding out the how the gray matter works,
mhm,
not just what it comes up with when it
right,
thinks, like
right.
how it processes thought biologically. I
Yeah.
really enjoy that. And he's like, yeah, by adding the extra sodium, it adds for the so there's a lot of things that are my brain doesn't store that stuff and it's a little bit in the archive. I'd have to pull it up or refresh my attention by looking at it. But I do remember, the way honestly, the way my brain works is so much more. I I look at the thing, I hear the thing, I take the point and I apply the point. I don't absolutely if as long as I trust the route they got to get to the conclusion, I don't need to remember the route. I just
I
need to
mean,
remember the conclusion.
that's why like I'll bring things up because I've like listened to or learned it from, I feel like is more qualified than I am anyway. And so
Okay.
I let them do the research so
Yeah.
I don't have to, right?
Yeah. And
But
the beauty is you get to do some research on yourself because everybody's a little bit different anyway. And if you get up and you start doing that and you do it for 3 months and you go, I feel worse. Okay, then stop.
right.
But if you're like, dude, I'm feeling better, keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. So
I think proof's in the pudding, right? Go for it.
the other thing is and I've heard this for years, right? That you shouldn't sleep with your cell phone like right next to you,
Right next to your head. Yes.
right? Which is what I've done for over a decade.
Right.
Um, and I get up early and I tend to if I don't wake up when I'm supposed to wake up, it is going to be 45 minutes later. I will have hit snooze like 9 times or I don't know how many that is, like
Okay.
5 times. Um, and like I'm not going to wake up. I will in my sleep hit snooze, right? So
Okay.
um I can do that because I'm self-employed, but I also am like I have a pretty like dialed in schedule. And so I don't want to do that. I also like in trying to be healthier, I don't want the brain bleeding or whatever the thing is that you're not supposed to have. Like again, I don't know. I've just heard it for a long time. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, let me explore this. What will it be like? So I've gone from like sleeping with my Apple Watch on, and having my phone like next to
Okay.
me to now I'm
Okay.
like they're across the room. And I
How
was
could you keep
shopping.
your watch on all do you have the thing where it bleeds battery from your phone to your watch? Or do you have to
No,
charge it?
no. I just get up. I would charge it for like 15 minutes and it would go all day.
Oh, well,
Yeah. So I like
that's
after I get up, like when I would hop in the shower,
taking your
I would
shower and
charge it.
doing your
Yeah,
morning routine, you would charge it.
exactly. So plus the like ultra, the battery lasts for days. So but I found myself in this space of shopping for an alarm clock in 2025. Now, that
Okay.
sounds if it sounds ridiculous, I would actually say that it is. I never thought I would be the person that had to shop for an alarm clock,
Uh-huh.
but there I find myself in that situation. And my first thing I was thinking like, I want to get one of those old school, like I don't know if it was like Sanyo or Sharp, whatever it was, but it was like
Sharp.
brown,
I was like,
plastic
I
with
could turn it.
wood
I have
grain.
oh, the brown one. No, no. I have like see if it'll stretch over
Not, oh no, that's way newer and nicer than what I was thinking. I was thinking like 1984 with like the
here. The
toggle
brown look, the
switches,
fake wood look
the
with the
fake wood.
lines.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Built-in FM radio.
You can find
Uh,
those in Goodwill.
I've heard. I've heard.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. Like just a little bit of irony. But
Okay.
anyway, I once I started shopping on Amazon, and oh my gosh, there's something you said a few episodes ago. You were talking about how like when you go into like Target or Walmart
Mhm.
and you want to buy a razor, there's three: the cheap
Yeah.
one, the middle of the road, and the expensive one. And
Right.
it eliminates that choice
So you don't
paralysis. Or
choose. You just
yes, and that
yes.
makes it very easy, right?
Mhm.
Cool. I
No,
mean, I've
there's
spent
thousands of
hours.
them. Uh-huh.
Yes. Um, there's
And
all
it
this
doesn't
criteria that I
help. I
started.
swear to God, it
No.
does not help to go, I'm only gonna go with a red display. And you're like, okay, went from 30,000 to 28,000. All right. Well,
Right.
I only want a display that's no bigger than 1 inch because I don't want, 1 inch tall. Okay, so 22,000. All right. Um, like it doesn't go down.
Yeah. And I find the things that I actually want, I can't actually filter. I just have to search again. And then you're going through the same results over and over and over. Anyway,
Right.
so I found a thing called a sunrise alarm clock. Now you probably know about this because you're cool.
I do. And those are freaking cool. They are expensive. So you are in a different
Well,
socioeconomic
sir,
level than me.
no, I found one for $30.
What?
That is like there's 27,000 reviews and it's a 4.5 star or 4.3 star.
Oh, it's gotta be.
I
Got to
mean,
be. Holy cripes. Dude, send me the
so
link,
yeah,
first of all.
I can show you. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Let's I'll just show it to you. And I gotta say,
Oh,
I don't hate
shut
it.
up.
So it's
Dude,
that. I got it on sale, but yeah, $33.
you got it on sale less than $33?
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah.
Of course you
So
did. Drop me the link. I'm buying that. Dude,
yeah.
I'm telling
So
you, I it's like I'm broken. I'm not kidding you. When it's dark outside, I cannot wake up.
yeah.
I can't.
So
But
let's tell people about what like a sunrise alarm clock
okay,
is. Like
so I have
basically
looked,
like
and no joke, they were $300 last time I
oh yeah,
looked. And I looked
yeah,
like a year ago because I look every year about Christmas time thinking, I've got to get one. I can't stand this. I need an alarm clock that isn't noise, that's light. So I wake up
right,
gently. Number one, I'm not jarred awake. Number two, it works with the natural circadian rhythm that's part of your brain anyway. So it slowly lightens, and it comes up. And you can usually you can set the adjustable time like, oh,
yes,
over a 5 minute period, it will get that bright
yeah.
to
I
full
have mine set
brightness.
to 30 minutes.
Even better.
Yeah,
So you just do it to where boop, pretty soon you just wake up and you feel like you wake up naturally because you do, because the light goes through your eyelids and it
yeah,
tells your brain morning in a
right.
gentle way, and it just brings you out of sleep instead of jarring you out of sleep.
And that's exactly so that's why I have mine set for 30 minutes because I want it to I'm trying to find that stage of my sleep cycle where it's lighter sleep
Right.
and not just be jarred awake. So
And
the
then
last I've
pull
had it for
yourself out.
4 days, 4 mornings. And the first morning I woke up to the sound, which I have set as birds chirping.
Okay.
Um, and so it was fully bright and birds were chirping. But the next 3 days, I woke up, I don't even know when, sometime. Today, so I have it set at 4:45. I like it starts making noise, but at 4:15 it starts to light up.
Okay.
And today I think I was up at 4:20,
Yeah.
and I was like I was out in the garage working out and realized that it was like 4:30. And I was like, "Whoa. I'm ahead of
Yeah.
schedule. This is great."
Dude,
So,
and the fact you can add bird noises and stuff. I wake up. I just started a couple weeks ago. I'm like, freaking beautiful, dude. I'm waking up feeling amazing because the sun where I live at 6:30, at 6:20, the sun started coming up. The birds are
okay.
chirping, and I naturally wake up and I'm like, oh shit, I got 2 more minutes. My alarm goes off. I just shut it off so it didn't go off. I'd get up, take a shower, felt amazing. Then the time change happened, and I was like, screw the world. Like now it's dark. I feel like I'm getting up in the middle of the night. It's so hard to do it. I feel
Yeah,
like I'm dragging out, like I'm in a coma. My body
yeah,
got used to waking up at when the sun's coming up. Naturally,
right.
makes sense. And so now I go into my son's room and I'm like, buddy, come on, time to wake up. And he's like, the middle of the night. Like he's as mad
Right.
as me. I
Yeah.
need to get him that alarm so I can set it to where by the time I go in there, he's already stirring and he feels like he's awake. I don't set the alarm right next to his bed. I'll set it up on the shelf way up high, and it'll just slowly brighten his room up. Dude,
Yeah.
that's genius.
Yeah, for anyone
That's
listening that's not, like,
that's a
actually
that's
looking at this
$100 gonna be well spent, dude,
oh,
because
yeah.
I'm buying one for us, one for me, one for my, son, and I'll probably just buy one for my other oh, shoot, I have 2 more kids. Uh, and they both have a lot of trouble waking up, which I thought, "I'm gonna go ahead and get them this alarm because this makes sense." But it was so expensive, I couldn't bring myself to spend that money.
Yeah, I was looking at the ones that were, $170 and all that stuff. I'm like, "This is the stupidest thing ever." I was getting mad because I was like, "Of course I want a $170 alarm clock." I'm like, "What?"
Of
I was
course you do.
thinking Yeah, of course. But
Yeah.
actually, dude, it does more than that too. It has like a sleep timer. So you can and it has white noise and all that stuff. So because I get up so early, I go to bed before my wife and son,
Right.
and our master bedroom shares a wall with the family room.
Of course.
And so I can hear the TV.
Everything. Mhm.
Right. And so I'm actually not a white noise sleeper. I never have been. My wife and son both have their machines and stuff, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it. And
Uh-huh.
man, I put it on. It also you can have it light up, like where it has like
Crackles
a
like
camp.
a
Yeah,
campfire or something?
yeah. So I have a campfire noise with some crickets, and it like
Okay.
has a campfire light effect. And so, man, I mean, like not even 5 minutes, and I'm out. It has been great. So
I could
that's
see that.
$30 I've spent, in a long time. For the
Wow.
people that aren't watching and didn't see it on screen, it's on Amazon. If you search JAL, JALL, sunrise alarm clock, it'll show up. I'll also put a link in the show notes. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Jal.
what I
Okay.
wanted to do is
Jal.
come in and be like, look at all this data that I reviewed and tell why it's good and your circadian rhythm. And yeah, no,
Sorry. Yeah, no, it's super good.
I'll stay in my
Dude,
lane.
man, I am all about it. Holy smoke. Yeah.
Well, we are I'm
Anyway,
anxious. I'm
yeah,
anxious to
thanks for
get
that.
into
Yeah,
the
I'm
after
down.
hours.
Dude, that was a great surprise, really. That's a real nice surprise.
Yeah, I'll send you a link. But so for
Boom.
people that don't know what we're talking about with the after hours show, what we have started to do is actually we have a Patreon, and it's a premium podcast or whatever. But basically we spend, it's been different every time we've done it. We have two episodes back there now. Um,
Hmm.
and one was an hour long, the other one was 2 hours long. We'll see what today
Wow.
is. But basically,
Okay.
it is a video podcast of us actually working on our stuff, building our stuff. We went through FireCut. I showed Aaron last week FireCut and a few other tools that I'm looking at, and we are
Yep.
actually doing the things, brainstorming, doing research, actually working on the ventures that we're trying to grow. And so, if it's something that you hear us talk about, like everything we say on the podcast sounds good, but then how do you apply it? I think that the behind the scenes stuff that you get in the after hours show, you might be interested. It might be,
It's the minutia of grinding.
yeah. Now,
The
is
best
it
way to describe it is what we are actually doing, not just
right?
talking about doing it.
Exactly. And I will say that it's a little bit different feel. It's much more casual, and we're
Yeah.
already pretty casual, right? So, um, right.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
so and we talk about the things that we're planning too. So like today, we're going to talk about this book idea,
Yeah.
and it's not something that I would just feel comfortable just throwing out there. That wasn't behind a paywall. But for those people that are part of the
Dedicated and, like,
yeah,
serious
yeah,
that wanna support us aren't gonna try and steal the idea and jump out before we do it anyway, so I
exactly.
think it's
So
we're probably fine.
but yeah,
Um,
let's see. So we're gonna cover that. Is there anything else that you need to cover in after hours?
um, no, I just wanna talk a little bit more about, the Envato stuff and could do some comparison. I want you to
Yeah,
take
yeah,
a look at the Motion
yeah.
Array just to tell me if that's it, because that one's like $40. That
Okay,
bumped me from that $57 a month to like 90 something, which in my mind, I round up or down. So at 57, I'm thinking 50 bucks.
it's 50
And
bucks. Yeah,
now you add 35 more
now
dollars,
it's
it
a hundred
bumps me to
dollars.
92. I'm like, that's freaking $100.
Yeah,
So I just doubled the price of
yeah,
what it's going to cost me to run my own stuff. And so anyway, I wouldn't mind running through
yeah.
that
That
again.
sounds good.
Do some comparison just because you have way more insight and knowledge into that than I do. So
Sure.
that would be cool. No, that's about it. I did want to touch on I do want to talk about I call it a movie. I keep calling it a movie, but I'm going to be honest, it's going to be cut much, much shorter than that.
It's a
But I
short
do
film.
have this vision of a theatrical, cinematic story that
Sure.
I want to tell in a series of episodes. The scary thing is all of the other things that I've seen that have given me inspiration, there's never one that when it's done, I watch the credits roll and it's like, thanks guys. I really appreciate all the support. I worked really hard on this. I never see that. I
Right.
see 40, 50, 60 names going, and I'm like, how are that many people working on one tiny thing? Like, but obviously there was money and funding and whatever. And
Right.
so I figure, I guess the best way to describe what I want to do is I want to do it raw enough where you can tell that I made it myself, but also engaging enough because the story is good enough, which I think it is, that somebody takes it and goes, can you imagine this as a Netflix series? And then they come in and do it more
Sure.
professionally. I feel like I want to see the vision done with somebody else's budget.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I want to make
Don't
it
we all?
myself so that I can sell the idea without me being like, now imagine in your head, because my imagination is apparently much more vivid than everybody else's. Because when I
Right.
talk to people and I'm like, imagine this, and I start describing, and they're like, just move on. And I'm like, hold on. The lighting in this imaginary scenario is incredibly important. I need you to, so stay with me. But if I can just show them, what do they say? A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So I can show them with the picture and then they can watch it and go, bro, if you would have gotten the lighting a little bit more crisper or had a mist in the air, this would have been sick. Yes, but I couldn't do all of that because I can't afford it. But you can now at least see what needs to happen to make it great.
I
That's
have
what I'm
one
hoping.
request.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, can I be the movie trailer voice?
Oh, yeah. I
In
need
the
you to do
world.
that. And it's not just that, it's every single episode. Well, anyway, I'll explain it more later
Yeah.
when we
Well,
get into it.
that's again, that's something that like that works for the after hours
Yes, for
stuff, you
sure.
know?
And then we can do it. We can record the whole thing and then I can be putting it in. I'll even show pre-clips and everything in there as I get
Yeah.
going. And then because I'm going to need pointers when I edit, because you're going to go, oh, no, 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 no. That's not okay. You're going to need to reshoot that scene, but do it from this angle and do that in order to get so that I can, what do they say? So you can realize your vision. I
Right.
want my vision to be realized on screen. I know it's
Well, I
never
mean,
going to be perfect,
yeah, I
but
mean,
I want to
even
get, I
in
wanted to get
movies,
the
they'd
point.
have rough cuts. They'll take things with like and they'll use stand-ins or stunt doubles, and they'll shoot a sequence that's very low, low
Budget.
quality,
Okay.
and just to get the pacing, just get the blocking and try to figure out, okay, how do we actually shoot this in the big production,
This
So
is why we talk. I'm trying to shoot final quality every single time and it's wearing me out. And sometimes I'll shoot and do the whole thing and then I'm like, "Yeah, I wish I would have seen like looking at the screen while I'm trying to record. I can't, I'm the both. I'm going to be the
right,
person in front of and behind the camera at the same time. I won't be able to see what I'm doing while I'm doing it.
right.
Versus I could record it crappy. Like just have someone else come in and sit down and be like, "Oh no, it needs to not come in from that side. It has to be from this side." Or you have to slowly sit down while you're
Right,
staring or but you only see it when you see it. I
right.
can shoot it and do a rough cut. Yeah, it's kind of like when I'm telling my kids when they're videoing like, "Let's make the storyboard." So we make the
Yeah,
boxes and then imagine what each scene will look like. Dude, my you know, after hours, I'll show you the little video my son made.
yeah, yeah.
He picked the angles of all of the shots. Now, granted, everything he recorded started with him, like it shows him at the camera, and then he runs off, and then he walks past it. And even as he's walking past it, he's like kind of looking at it a little bit. And I'm like, son, you can't be looking at it. And then it would come back and he'd be like, and turn it off. And then he
I
would
love
move
it.
it and then do it. So if anybody could see that's really fun to watch him do those. But he clipped it together. He sat on my lap and went through Premiere and like, no, Papa, right here, you're gonna okay. So we got them all in order. And then anyway, if you're interested in that, come
Yeah,
to that show. You'll be able to
yeah.
see what the
Cool.
final product was.
Well, I promise next week I'll be I'll have done more research. It's not that
Now
I
we'll
wasn't
just have
prepared.
another
I just
topic or another something to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
that'll come to us
I
at
have
the
a
end of
long
this.
list. It's just a matter of I've got a pitch I'm preparing for today, and
Okay.
so that's where all my time is gone.
Okay.
But anyway,
Cool.
you know what's coming next.
Yes.
Well, until next week, mind your business.
Bam. There it is.
All right, see you later.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Minding Your Business podcast. Your hosts are Aaron Gerals and me,
CJ Jolliffe. If you want to find out more about us or when we're going live or follow us on socials, just go to our website, mybpodcast.com. And again, thank you so much for listening.